Hi there, this is Sue at Miller's Laboratory. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to be going from beginning to end, showing you a project that I'm working on. And I have moved my setup to my kitchen table so that I have a little bit more room to spread out and also set up my sewing machine. So let me show you what we're going to make. These are little tiny mini junk journals with 2 pockets here, and also 2 pockets in the back. If these look familiar to you, it's because they're made out of kids' folders. And then there's just little pages in here, random different book pages and other papers that I have, and little dividers here with tabs on them. Okay. So, as I said, these are made from kids' school folders. So I'm going to put a picture in here. I bought a bunch of these on Amazon, 60 of them, and I coffee dyed all of them. And what I did to do that was just laid them out in my backyard and put coffee in a spray bottle and sprayed them. So I have all these folders in this box, and I'm planning to make little booklets out of all of these. I used to make these and send them out as like little extra gifts that I would give to people who bought more than one journal from my Etsy shop, but I kind of got low on them, and that just got to be too much, so I stopped doing that. But I do think this is a little worthwhile project that you could make yourself, or I'm making a whole bunch so that I can have them in my shop. And what I'm going to do a little differently this time is, see if I can get to the middle here. On this old one, I actually stitched the pages in with my sewing machine down the middle. I'm trying to find the spot here where the seam is. But for this round of books, I'm going to make them more like a travel journal style with the elastic, so that you can swap in different pages, and then you can add brochures in there. I think these make a really great little journal to have in your purse when you're going on a smaller trip. And then you could reuse it again and again just by adding different pages. So I'm going to turn the camera off and set up my cutter, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. The other thing I didn't mention is that before I would send these out, I would do a little collage on the front, and I will do that this time too. We'll do that. That'll be our last step. All right, so I just wanted to show you that these little books are just over 6 inches high, and we're just working with the height right now. And the folders themselves are about 11.5 inches. So what we're going to be doing is trimming these down so we have this bottom half at about 6 inches. And I'm using my Carl rotary cutter, which is awesome because I can do several folders at the same time. I think I'm just going to grab 4 of them, and we'll see if it can handle that. And I'm going to load them in this way. It's pretty tight. And we're just going to line up here to the 6-inch line. Yeah, 4 is pretty tight in there, but I think it can handle it. Line those up straight. Just clamp this down, and we just cut back and forth. Okay, so now these look like this. And we're going to save these because these are going to become the dividers inside. So I'm going to speed this up and we'll get working. While I'm cutting here, let's talk a little bit about school supplies. Now is the time to stock up on those loose leaf paper, graph paper, folders, glue sticks, all of those wonderful things. Prices are good right now. More and more I am seeing these 2-pocket folders that are made out of plastic instead of paper, which makes me a little sad because you know those are just going to be in landfills. But you still can find the paper ones. I found them at my local Meijer store for 10 cents a piece. And of course, you can order them on Amazon. They're great to have on hand. All right, our next step here is to work with these tops. So this was the top of the folder without the pocket. We are going to cut off this little reinforced folded over edge, and then we're also going to cut off the folded edge to make it into two separate pieces, and we want those to be about 8.5 inches wide to work in the book. So let me line up a few of them here. We're going to cut off a good amount here to make sure we get that fold cut off, and let's just move that up a little bit there. And then I'm going to flip it over and cut it to 8.5 inches. Get rid of that fold. And I'll just speed this up to get the rest of these done. Be right back. One of the reasons I like this project so much is that it's a great stash buster. We all have extra pages that didn't make it into our journals. We have extra fussy cuts, little bits of paper, fabric, lace, etc. All of those things are perfect for filling one of these little mini journals. All right, now our next step is going to be to go back to the folder base and put these folds in each one. And you can see that I folded it in, but not quite all the way to the center. So we're going to go ahead and do that and get our crease in each one. Grab the blue ones here first. I'm just going to fold in, but just leave a little bit of space here. We don't want anything to get hung up in the middle. Okay. And I actually go like this and make a little mark with my nail on the other one, so I know that it's going to match up neatly when we have our finished book. Can't find my mark. There it is. And a bone folder would be really helpful. I'll probably go grab that, but now we have this sort of thing. Okay, so we're going to do that with all of them. I'd just like to say what a great little gift this makes. You can make a bunch of them and have them on hand for emergency little presents. They would be great for a teacher. They could be themed. You could be music themed for a music teacher. You could have Christmas or another holiday theme. They're great to put in a stocking. They're just a wonderful little gift. Okay, my husband and I just went on a nice long kayak paddle, and I took a nice long break. Now I'm back to continue working on these little booklets, and I want to show you where we folded these in. You could just leave them that way. But it does kind of make a thick area here for that to fold, and I like to ease that a little bit. So I'm actually going to cut these so that they're more like a corner tuck. And you could use some kind of a template to measure this, but I just eyeball it. I'm just making sure I've got a really nice mark here right at the fold. Up here in the corner I've got a nice crease. And I have these nice long dressmaker's shears, so it's easy to make longer cuts straight. And I'm just going to come in about a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch here from that fold. And I'm just going to aim my scissors for that point right there and just cut it as straightly as I can. It's a little hard to get right up into that corner, but we did it. All right. Then we just turn it. We're going to fold this guy down so we can get a mirror image. And I'll start my scissors right here, and then I kind of follow that fold, but mostly, again, I'm just aiming for my mark down here. I'm going as straight as I can. If it's not perfect, no one's going to know. And you have this little flap here, and we're just going to cut that off. So now we've got this nice pocket here and here. And if you want to, you can round that edge off a little bit or use a decorative punch on there, whatever you want. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So if you're very particular and you want it to match, You can use this little piece from the other side to measure and lay it on there and cut right along the fold. I don't. I'm going to do it here to show you, but I do not do that. I am just very loosey-goosey, and I trust myself to do it pretty straight. So now with these folders, they are solid color all the way through. A lot of times you're going to find folders that are colored on the outside and white in the middle, and those work just fine too. You're gonna see this difference a little bit more where your pocket is. So if it makes you comfortable to use a ruler and draw a line, or use an X-Acto knife and a ruler to make your cut really straight, you certainly can do that. So you can see that that's a little bit of a fussy thing, so I am not going to do the rest of those on camera and speed them up. I'm just going to go ahead and finish those, and I will be back. Okay, next step I've decided on is something I didn't do in the original books, and that is I'm going to reinforce the spine with some tape. Because I'm going to cut a little notch and we're going to have elastic going around there, I want to make sure that's nice and strong. So I'm going to use brown packing tape, and I've got that right here, and I'm going to just start on the inside here where this little pocket is and just tuck this down in just beneath the level, trying to make it centered and straight as much as I can. This is a little bit fussy, but it is worth it, and it looks cool if I get it on there well. All right, so we're just going to wrap this back around and pull it down, and I can see it's not perfectly straight. You can kind of fiddle with it a little bit. Let's see if that's better. Yeah, that's got a big wrinkle in it though. We'll go with that right there. We can work those little ones out. Bring it back around again here, and then pull it back out, and then we're just going to trim that off and tuck it underneath. Sorry, I don't mean to go off camera. So it isn't perfectly lined up, but we're not going to worry about that too much. We're going to have pages in there too, so no one's going to be looking too closely at that. All right. So that way, let's get my scissors here to really crease that nicely. We have a really nice strong spine there that will not give out on us, no matter what we stuff in there. All right, so that again is going to be a little bit time consuming. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera and do all of the books now for that. See you in a bit. All right, guys, I hope I have this camera set up okay. We're going to stitch around from the edge of the tape on one side to the edge of the tape on the other side. Take my word for it, you do not want to try to stitch through the tape. Even the most heavy-duty junker machine just can't handle that. All right, this will be a little loud. The loud noise is from the needle punching through the layers of cardstock here. I would not use my Good Clothing fabric sewing machine for this. Pick up a junker at the garage sale or at Goodwill and use that. Make sure you have a heavy-duty needle in there. The bobbin thread is stuck, so let's just fix that quickly. You can see this is a kind of a fussy thing. Just take it slow. one done and 59 to go. All right, guys, here are my books all neatly placed in this box. They've all been stitched around the edges. Let me just tell you, that took me a long time. It is about a week later from when I made the last section of this video. It just was very time consuming. So I'm happy to have that done. And I have assembled some papers here. I'm still on my kitchen table and I'm just holding the phone by hand, but I'm just showing you the variety of papers that I'm going to be using to fill up these books. So today is Michigan versus Texas, and I will be watching football and putting pages in my books while I watch. All right, I believe today is the last day of work. I am down to the final two little books here. These both are white ones that are, of course, heavily coffee dyed. And what I like about these is that these were in my yard to dry, and they got really cool patterns on them from the grass. So they're kind of fun. On the back here, you can see there's a label. That's because these white ones came from a different source. I actually picked them up at Meijer, and they had a barcode here. So I just printed out a printable sheet of labels from the Graphics Berry, and I put that on all of the white ones on the back just to cover up that barcode because it was ugly. Okay, so I'm going to set one of these aside here and just want to show you the elastic. This is, I think, 1.5 millimeter, just black like elastic that I bought in a spool, and it's just tied around the spine there. There's a little notch here at the top and bottom that just helped to hold that in place. And then what fell out were the two divider pieces that were cut from the top of the folder. So I'm just also going to set those aside for now. So let's get our pages together here. And so obviously I did this like an assembly line, and I put mostly the same pages in each book. And they're all laid out in order. So I'm just going to whip through those quick and show you what's going into each book. So we're starting with some sort of a vintage doily. Some of them are a whole small doily like this folded in half. Some of them are, a larger piece that I tore into pieces. But they're all older, they're not new ones. And then I'm going to put a page from, just a page from a flower book here that's folded. And then next I have some sort of a drafting book page. So this one was like how to read mechanical blueprints. We have a foreign language page next. This is a German one, really old. A lot of them have Italian pages, and then there's a couple I think that have something French. This is some old typing paper. Do I have that right? Yeah, okay. So we're going to just fold, so we have those just stacked, all 5. And then I'm going to put one of the dividers on next. Like that. Then we're going to go to another 5 pages here. So the next one's going to be some sort of an ledger page, an old one that has handwriting. This is from 1893. And what's nice about some of them is some of them have blank space too that you can write on. I have next another little, this is a new little ledger from a little ledger book that I put in and just added that little craft paper flap on. Next we're going to have a little map from an atlas. Adds a little bit of color in there. Okay, and then a page from a really old Catholic music book. Maybe for like a piano player or an organist. I don't know, but it's really late 1800s again, and it's rag paper. It's really nice and heavy, and it feels great. And then last on this this set, I'm going to have another type of a ledger page, but I chose ones here that did not have any writing on them. So there's our second 5, and then we're going to have 5 more. So 15 of these pieces of paper go in, which makes 30 times 2, so actually 60 pages if you don't count the divider. So that's a good amount of pages in these little books. All right, the last 5 here, I have a piece of vintage wallpaper. This is from 1978, and it's got this beautiful floral pattern on it. All of them have a piece of this wallpaper. It reminds me of my bridesmaids' dresses. I thought it was really pretty, and it's not pre-pasted, so it's just paper, nice, thick, heavy paper that can be written on. Next, I have some sort of a plans, architectural plans, or this is from a book of boat plans. It goes in. And then just some sort of colored paper that is coffee dyed. So I've got a pink one for this one here. Sorry, sometimes I can't get them open. My fingers are fumbling. Okay. This is another little book page, really old, and it's got really cool like ridges on it, which is fun to feel. And then lastly, I used part of a page from a stamp collector's book, and I just added a little stamp in each one. I'm going to put that this way because I don't want that little stamp to be upside down. Okay, but that's not a tragedy, and I'll show you why. All right, so I have this little bundle of pages then, and what we're going to do is just open up our book, make sure the pockets are oriented correctly, and we're just going to tuck this right under the elastic, and that will hold it in place, and then all of our pages are in there securely. But what's nice about this style of book then is that if you wanted to change the order of these, you just pop them out and reorder them. You can add more pages in just by tucking something underneath there. You can take the whole thing out. If you've used it all up and you want to put new pages in there, you can do that too. So I like this format a lot. All right, so I'm going to just also tuck in here a couple of other things. These are some pages from some little bird guides that I originally took out to use in these books. And then I decided not to do it because I didn't really want to fold these. I was afraid they might crack. So I'm just going to give you those anyway. And I'm going to tuck them in one of the pockets here. And then I also just have a little tag here with, it's like would be on your car or something when you picked it up. And so I'm just tucking that in there too, so you have something to do with it, and then, or you can do something with it, but I just wanted a little something in the pocket so you could see it. All right, so let's go ahead and just assemble the pages for the other one here too, and then we're going to do some finishing work. So get this opened here, kind of out of the way. All right, so we have our doily again, flower page. And this one has like an architectural drawing page. This is another German page, but a different book. And our typing paper again. Divider. Different ledger here. This is not as old. I think this is like 40s maybe. And this is actually from a student like who was in an accounting class. Same thing here. Oh. And then this, atlas, music, and then blank ledger page. Okay. Oh, divider. All right, and then wallpaper. This is from another sort of an architectural book. I love the little house picture or building. This has got a green piece of paper in it. Same book page here. And then our stamp. And let's just make sure again that that's right side up. But if I happen to put it in upside down, you can switch it. It's no big deal. No big thing. Okay. Pages are all in, very nice. Another little bird page we'll tuck in here. And our little number tag. All right. Okay, I'm gonna get my collage stuff out and I'll be right back. All right, well, the camera didn't go on this last time, so I'm starting it over, and I was just starting to talk about the collage and what I was doing on each page, because that's what I'm going to do next here is decorate the front. What I've done on most of them is started with kind of a larger label in the background and then just added a couple of other elements. So I'm keeping it pretty simple. And so I kind of went through some labels and I chose this one. I didn't get that on film, and I also chose these flowers to put on there. And then I thought I just wanted one more little element here, and so I picked out this tiny little guy that I'm just going to glue on there too. So sorry about that. My camera just decided not to cooperate. Well, this looks probably weird because this is a fussy cut and you're seeing flowers on it. And what happened here is that I printed out some flowers on my nice Epson paper that gives me really nice vivid color. And so you can see here this color isn't vivid at all, and I printed it out and I'm like, well, what the heck, this doesn't look very good. I had printed on the wrong side, so I didn't want to waste the paper, so I just flipped it over and printed more flowers on the other side. So you can tell the difference about how vivid that is. The type of paper that you use makes a huge difference when you're printing. All right, and then let's just get that little guy on there. So you probably missed the part where I was talking about how extremely messy my kitchen table is right now because I've got all this collage stuff all over the place and you can't see it. You're limited to just a little area here. But it'll be nice to get this project done and then just take all of this back down to the laboratory where it belongs. Just because I started the project up here and it was such a large scale, I just did the whole thing up here. All right, let's go ahead and do a collage on this one too, and then we'll move on to the next step. So again, you kind of missed a little bit of the selection process here. I have some pretty bird images from a book that I really like. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more here. Okay. But I decided I wanted to do this owl. Isn't that pretty? I really wanted to get an owl. I think I have an owl on another one. I have some really pretty owl images from this book, but some of them they're like clutching dead animals, which is not very pleasant to look at. So don't necessarily want to see that. All right. So what am I going to put on here? No, I'm not sure. I was thinking because it's kind of purpley that I might put a little bit of washi tape along here, and I have a couple of washies here that are the right colors. But I think I'm going to use this one. So, and I probably won't use the whole width of it because it's pretty wide. I'll probably trim it a little narrower. But so I'm going to just go ahead and glue this owl on just a little bit more to the right because I know I'm going to add to that section there. I'll go ahead and get this on here. So if you're a person that follows my channel, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. What I was going to say is you may remember back at the end of June, at the beginning of July, I talked a little bit about our house. There was a bad, like a derecho, like a storm that came through that was about 100 miles an hour that took down a couple of large oak trees in our front yard, and one came down on my son's car and the other one came down on our house. And so just this week now, finally, they are starting to do the repairs, and it's kind of amazing. We have a really complicated roof. It's like a Tudor style house. We have very, very steep peaks and lots of roof lines that come together at angles. So it's very complicated, and it's interesting to see what they're doing to make it all work. It's just really cool. It's very loud. I'm glad to be at work these days. I kind of think I'm just going to put that right there. I think that balances it out nicely. Because the amount of people up on the roof scraping and banging and everything, it's just really loud. So I'm thinking next week we're going to be getting shingles, and then there's repairs to be done on our, we have cedar shakes on the side of our house, and a lot of that was damaged. So they're replacing those, and we're getting the house all painted. And then and there's a bunch of interior work to be done too. So I'm just happy that they're getting the roof done before winter, really. Okay, now we're gonna open this up, and I'm gonna go ahead and set these labels aside because we're pretty much done with those. And I have this little box here. It's like my tab box. And what I do is if I have little scraps of paper that I like, but they're really tiny and I don't think realistically that I'm going to use them for collage, I will, let's just put that there. I will just punch out a tab, or just tear a rectangle shape that can be folded in half and used as a tab. So I have this little box that I'm drawing from here. And I have different shapes and everything. So what I'm doing in the books is just completely random. I'm not really matching it to the color of the book or the color of the collage on the front. I'm just pulling them randomly and picking ones that I like, and then just kind of spacing them out evenly so they look nice. So we're just going to go to this first divider, and we're going to put this on. And I just put it on there really loosely to start, because when you close these, it pushes everything out a little bit, and I didn't want it to stick out the edge on these. So I wanted to make sure it was placed in a good spot. And that one looks fine. I am going to move it up just a little bit, and then just go ahead and press it down so it stays in place. All right, let's pick another one here. Here's something fun. This is just an artificial leaf. That can make a really cool looking tab. So let's put that one in this one. And I'm just going to have it so a little bit of it sticking out like that. Okay. All right, let's make sure. I'm going to have to go in a little farther with that one too, but we'll get the glue on and then we'll figure it out. Okay. So this is a long project that I'm finishing up here. I actually think I started it probably about 6 weeks ago. And I don't know about you guys. I'm just terrible at estimating time. I really am bad at it. You know, I was thinking about that because I'm really good at estimating other things. Like, for example, I must be spatial. I must have a spatial brain because, like, if we are finishing dinner and we have a bunch of lasagna left or something, I can always pick the perfect Tupperware container that it will just fit in without being too big. But when it comes to time, I just, it gets away from me. Everything just takes way longer than I think it should, or that I think it's going to. This is just 2 little circles that I punched out of an atlas or a map. And when I do these, I'll punch them and I'll just put a tiny bit of glue on them so that they stay together, because otherwise I'm digging through the box trying to find the match, which is not really that fun. So, and then again, when I place this one on, I'm just going to make sure that it's down so that you can still see it when you first open the book. So I don't want it to be too overlapping. I want you to be able to see all of them. And then let's just make sure that's not going to poke out. See, that one's poking out a little bit. So I'm actually going to push it on a little bit more. That's why I don't do it too hard to start. There. Okay. All right, and then we have one more little spot down at the bottom there. Let's see if I can find something cool. Oh, this is kind of fun. This is a little like a, it's like an S&H Green Stamps, but it's a different brand. And if you have 2 together like that, it makes kind of a cool tab. So we'll use that. Is that about the right size? I think that will work. Let me find something a little wider, I think. Let's see. Oh, here's another, this is another couple of stamps. It looks like these were actually put onto paper, but that makes a nice little tab, little stamps. So we'll use that, the glue on there. So on one side I put the glue all the way, And then on the other side I just do half, because when they fold this up, this part's going to get glued together anyway. Okay. I'll just put this one down to the bottom here. Isn't that pretty? That's a pretty little stamp. It's like peaches or apples on there. I don't know what. Make sure it's not going to pop out. I could pull that one out just a little bit more so you can kind of see it there. Okay, all right. So then that's what that looks like. Just you can see all those tabs along there. It's cool. Those are fun. All right. And then the last thing I'm going to do in there here is put my label in and sign it. So I'll do that. We'll do the other one, and I'll give you a peek at some of the other color ones, and then I will take a few pictures probably and put them at the beginning of the video, maybe at the end, so you can see. And these are going to be on my Etsy shop, so if you're interested in these, the link will be below. And these are obviously smaller book, not as expensive as some of my other ones. I'm just going to refold that a little bit out. It's kind of binding up a little bit on that doily, and I don't want it to tear. There we go. Okay, not pretty? Okay, let's get our other one with the tabs. It's our pretty owl book. All right, so let's see. Right on the top, I'm seeing this one, which I think is cool. This, I think, got punched out of a scrap from a leaf, some kind of a botanical book page, I would say. All right. Make sure when you glue these on that you don't glue it onto the next page. I've done that before. The voice of experience there. Okay, let's make sure that's okay. It looks good. Lay that one down. Okay. Let's do, maybe we want to do something a little bit brighter in this one. This, oh, that's pretty, but it's very pastel. Let's see. This is from like a rose book page, I think. Let's put that in. Oh, you know what? I tried to do not the same, like this is one of these whale tail ones. I tried not to do two whale tails, tried to do two different ones all along the way. So let's put let's get back to the little saving stamps here. We'll put that one in. Okay. We've had some really beautiful weather here the last week. It's been warm again. It's like second summer almost. The nights are cool, which is awesome. But it's been beautiful and sunny, and I think we're going to have a beautiful weekend today and tomorrow too. So I hope the weather is nice where you are, and I hope you're enjoying this change of seasons. I like the fall. All right, I kind of think I want to do that one. That's from some scrapbook paper, I think. And then I'm going to show you one other thing here that I use. I try to be inventive with the tabs. Tabs are really fun to me. Like, I try to think of unique things to use as tabs. Okay, so we need to come down here to this one. Make sure we don't have a page behind it. Stick it on there. Let's see it not to go about there. And let's just make sure it doesn't poke out. That one comes really close. Okay, I might slide it on just a little bit more. Just a wee bit. All right, and then the last thing I'm going to do is use a piece of this paper ruffle that I made probably 2 years ago. I just took some scraps of, I think this is mostly Reader's Digest pages, and pleated them and sewed them on the sewing machine, and they make nice little trims, and I think they make cute little tabs with the stitching down the middle. So I just glue 1/2, and sometimes I have to add a little glue in here to make sure the pieces stay in place. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue under there too, just to be safe. And then we'll pop this onto the last divider here. That's good. Okay, get that out of here. Okay, so that's what the tabs look like on this one. Pretty. All right. Okay. Oh, the label. Gotta get my label on there. So, hope everyone is being creative and making things. If you're not going to buy one of these, I hope maybe you'll try making them. It's not hard. It is time for the school supplies to be on sale in the stores, so you could probably pick up folders at a bargain. And I'd love to hear about it if you decide to try this. All right. I'll pop in some pictures, and then as soon as I get the video all put together, I'll get it posted and we'll get these in my shop. So thanks for following along with me on this journey. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye. Forgot to show you one thing. Right on the inside of this first page, the flower page, it's just text and not very exciting. So I cut out some little rectangle shapes from an art book, and I'm just stapling that on here like a little cluster or a little tuck with, boy, which side do I want to use? I think I want to use that side. With a little scrap of fabric. This is not vintage fabric. I think it's probably something I got from Walmart. But I'm just stapling that on there because that page looked so plain, and then I thought it would be fun if you could tuck something up underneath there if you wanted to. And then there's one other spot that I forgot to point out. Let me see if I can find it quickly. I made a little tuck spot, like you could use it as a little pocket, and I didn't say anything about it, so let's see if I can find that. Oh, where was it? It's right here where you pull out this, there's a little pull out here, and on the other side when you open this up, I made this like a little tuck spot here. So I just wanted to make sure you knew about that little feature. So now I'm really leaving. Thanks. Bye.